Hello, everybody. This is Julissa. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who's listening right now in the podcast. Today is Tuesday, December the 2nd, 2025. Wanted to come here and share something that happened to a lady as she was returning back home to New York, right, this past weekend. Before I continue, I want to say happy December. I cannot believe it's already December, like November 1, like that. And that's how things are these days. Everything is so quick, right? I cannot believe, I remember when the year started, I was like, oh my goodness, 2025, that's amazing. And now we're almost done with it, right? Craziness. Life is so quick. Everything is so quick. And, some people hear you say things like that and they're like, oh, you're just getting old. Then you go on TikTok, right? And then you hear the young people say, like, right? Like people who are younger, obviously. They'll be like, man, what is going on with time? It's going so fast. I think November went very fast, right? I mean, I remember it was just September and now we're like December. This is crazy. But I just want to say thank you, of course, to everybody who has been watching this video right now on Spotify. Thank you guys so much for watching and following the podcast. Excuse me. It helps. I get nervous, so it's so weird because I can be practicing to do this video and then the minute I hit record, I start getting nervous and confused. And people think that it's like, oh, it's so easy because, it's not like people are watching you. It's so weird. The minute you hit record, right, you feel like, because, it's going to be shared. I think this is what happens to me. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I feel like the people are already like looking at the video live. Anyways, what I'm saying is this. Thank you guys so much on Spotify. Thank you for following the podcast and everybody who's watching on YouTube. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, okay? The other day, I saw a video. I think it was in New York, actually. It was a young man who was attacked by her children's classmates as she went to pick them up from school. And she was attacked by them. And I couldn't believe it. How is it that a young mom goes to pick up her children from school? Something happens, some type of argument, and they start beating her. The children beating a parent right there outside the school. And I was like, this is the world right now. This is crazy. Because you will think, when you encounter like a group of teenagers, a group of children, right, and there's some type of argument, the minute they see you coming, they kind of like, oh my goodness, an adult is here. Everybody stop what you're doing, right? And then you sense some type of respect immediately comes out, right? But then that's not reality right now for a lot of places, a lot of neighborhoods, a lot of countries, I guess you can say. And I couldn't believe it, right? That wow, imagine being a parent and you get a call, right? Let's say, oh, your kid was beating up somebody's mother. Like what? What type of learning are these kids receiving at home, right? It makes you wonder about all of that. It makes you wonder how, are the parents even present in the house, right? What are they teaching the kids? And there's no respect for adults anymore. And it's very sad, but that happened. I don't know exactly all the details, but it happened, I believe it was last week. And the mom got beat up basically by this group of kids, right? Imagine dealing with something like that. And then I saw somebody actually, I think it was also I think it was TikTok or Twitter. She was saying how she was just randomly at the airport city waiting for her flight, and this young man began to record her without her permission, without her knowledge, recording everything that she was doing, right? To then go on the internet and make a funny video about her, right? How disrespectful is that to do that to somebody? And it can happen to any of us, right? It can happen to any of us. This is the thing now. People do things for views and they don't care if they have your permission or not, because now the excuse is, well, you are in public, so don't expect privacy in public because there's cameras everywhere, right? But how disrespectful it is that you are there. You could be tired from work, you could be tired from dealing with the flight, or maybe whatever it could have been, right? You are at the airport doing your normal thing, and then you just sitting waiting for your flight, to board the flight, and this young kid is recording you and doing this narrative, right? As they're recording you in secret so that they can share it on the internet. And then the video goes viral, right? And because it's a small world and everybody knows everybody, somebody say, hey, somebody got a video of you, and they're knocking you and they're doing this. Like, in moments like that, you're like, yeah, go ahead and sue that person. Because that's so disrespectful. They should have never done that. Teach them a lesson. They should have never done something like that, right? But it's happening, and like I said, it can happen to anybody. And now, what I'm gonna read to you guys about today is a plane passenger was left in tears after reading the her seatmate test about her during the 2-hour Delta flight to New York, right? Because now, you're dealing with people recording you in public, in secret, without your permission, things like this. Like, this is, I know, I've been going a lot to museums and things like this. And I went to New York specifically, and one of the biggest, a very popular museum, right? And one of the things that I did was, because I'm sure people say to me, oh, every time you go, there's like nobody there. There's people there. But I wait until the crowd kind of moves away a little bit because I don't want to record anybody. I'm not there to record the people. I'm there to record what the museum has, right? And those are things that you kind of do, to be careful about what is that called? Invading into people's privacy. You do that, but have I seen people like actually? I think I noticed somebody actually recording me, um, and it could have been anything. But I'm learning to be more hey, what are you doing type of person, right? To go out and like, what are you recording? Like, what's going on here? So here's the article. I'm sorry, there's a lot of ads in the paper now this day. So I just want to say, I know it's hard to ignore when people are like saying negative things about you, right? But you need to remember, this is something that I deal with, right? I struggle to kind of like let it go sometimes. It's a process, right? I'm better than what I was last year, the year before, and the year before that, right? But because you can now understand how people can be so hateful. But you need to understand also that when people have something negative to say about the way you speak, the way you look, or the things that you do, things like that, that's just a reflection of who they are, and it's their opinion. That doesn't mean that's you. That doesn't mean that's who you are. It's just their opinion, okay? So this person, she sits next to this guy, and she was able to read it. I do apologize about the alarm going off here, the siren. She was able to read briefly what this guy wrote to somebody on his phone. So let me read to you guys this article. I'm a little congested, so I do apologize. So it says here that being cramped on a flight is uncomfortable at best of time, but one woman has shared the devastating moment, and she realized her seatmate was talking about her weight. In a video shared online, the Delta airline passenger Vanessa said she was flying from Tampa to Florida, and from Tampa, Florida, then to New York City. She shared predicament in an overlay text, explaining she caught a glimpse of what the passenger next to her has been saying. And he said, and this is what she was able to capture, and the siren keeps going off here. She said, We've taken off. I can't stop crying, she began. Well, this is what she's saying. The man next to me sent one text. Urged huge woman sat next to me. I saw because I have eyes, and now I feel like a prisoner for the next 2 hours. Vanessa then shared that she has lost weight and she was feeling good about herself until she saw the message. Be kind, she implored to her followers. If you're feeling so inclined, can you send me some love? She said, I lost 60 pounds and have actually been feeling really good about myself. So apparently she actually shared this already on TikTok. See, I don't know, like just reading this right now, I don't know why she would share that on TikTok. But I guess she was feeling down about it. But then now she's opened herself up for more feedback from strangers, right? And when it comes to people's way, it can go good or bad, and mostly bad because that's the stigma in society, okay? So it says here that as I approached my robe, I made eye contact with the man in the window seat of my robe. She said, I could see the man in the window visibly sigh and roll his eyes. That is immediately when my radar went up. The content creator said as soon as she sat down, she glanced over and saw the message. It was right there in front of my face, she recalled. She added that he appeared to realize it was insensitive and sent a series of empty texts to push the message off his screen so she wouldn't see it. Unfortunately, though, Vanessa had already seen it. In the comments, viewers were divided over her video. That's what I'm saying. So, because now I'm looking at my timing here. And she's saying, why are we justifying? Somebody said, why are you justifying invasion of privacy? It is his phone. He's not saying a word to you. If he starts acting rude, then it's a thing, somebody said. Someone else added, you look at his phone screen, you need to stop doing that. And congratulations on your progress because she's saying she lost weight. So here's the thing. Just by reading this, I think there's an issue here bigger than what she's sharing, because you already mentally are going out thinking that everybody's looking at you and thinking the way you look at yourself maybe in a negative light. And if that's your mentality, that's all you're gonna see. If you think everybody's just talking about what you look in the outside, and should you gain weight, should you lose weight, should you do this and the other, that's all you're gonna see because you're already looking for it. It's like when you buy a new car, let's just say, or somebody buys a new car, and before you never seen that car anywhere, and now that it's already in your mind, that's the car that you see everywhere. You're like, there's another one over here and another one there, because you're already looking for it, right? So she already like, that text could have been something else. But because she was already looking for it, like I don't know, this is so weird, like for me to even explain this, but it already became something for her because she was looking for it. So if you think in your mind you're planning on going, let's just say you're planning on going to let's just say a museum, right? Because I've been going to so many of them, and you're like, if I go to the museum, I know they're gonna be rude to me. Why do you think it's gonna happen to you? Like, you already coming with that mentality. So if they say, oh no, don't take any photos, but you go, everybody was so rude to me, that's what you're gonna say, instead of saying, they just don't want me to share an exclusive collection, right? But because you're already coming with that mind, that's what you're gonna get, right? And people are saying, it's an invasion of privacy. And she's saying how she felt too, which is weird. Is that like this is like this is interesting because she felt like he was kind of body shaming her. This guy talk about my weight, he's body shaming me. Now I'm gonna post it on the internet so that everybody can have sympathy for me. obviously there's something going on there, right? Something bigger. It probably has nothing to do with her appearance, but it's turning into this, right? She's saying she lost weight, and like he doesn't know that, right? Do people body shame? Right, obviously that's a big problem. People are only focused on what you look like. Not everybody, right? Um, the majority of society is like that, but that doesn't mean that that's all they think about either, right? Um, so that's why you have to kind of like don't just go on the first encounter, right? You kind of like gotta see the next time, right? What they do, and for her to immediately say, um, I lost 60 pounds, and he's saying that I'm huge and this and the other. That's why you have to be careful too how you approach people, especially like I said before in many of my videos. Everybody owns a mirror. There's nothing new you can tell an adult person about what they look like that they haven't discovered for their own yet. Because especially if they're adults, they get to see themselves every day, okay? And so you don't know what everybody's journey is. You don't know if they began working out already. So I get what she's saying there, but what I don't get is like, you feel bad about that comment that he sent on his private phone to somebody that you assume immediately that's about you, right? But now you're gonna go on the internet to get sympathy. That to me is something else, obviously, right? Something else going on. So let me know, guys, what you think about this. Let me see some of the comments. Should I even, people are turning it the other way. They're saying, why are you reading his phone number? His texts, right? Somebody said, I'm sorry, but people need to do better. People have feelings. Maybe she shouldn't have looked at the messages, but maybe she didn't mean to. Imagine having to sit through that flight, knowing the person next to you wishes you didn't exist. Like, it's a stranger, number one, right? And like once again, I know it's a progress to get to this point where you're like, okay, that's their opinion, right? Doesn't mean that that's your identity. Doesn't mean that's who you are. It's somebody else's negative opinion, right? In the negative mindset. That's it, right? And also, you know, they're just maybe that test wasn't for you, but like I said, but if you think that every time you go out, people are just gonna look at your body and they're gonna comment about it in a negative way, then that's all you're gonna get, right? That's why sometimes you see people that lose a lot of weight. They go from like everybody's doing the vaccine thing, then not the vaccine, the GLP something, and they they can lose weight very fast, but a lot of the times it's all here, right? And some people are not ready to do that drastic change in their appearance, right? And that's why you see them struggling sometimes. They could be size 0 and they say, oh, you think I'm fat, right? That's a mental thing, right? So they continue to do this aggressive attack into their weight, even though they no longer need to lose weight. But the thing is, like, they haven't connected here. And then they continue, and then, they lose so much weight, then now they look sick, right? And it's just, it's a whole progress. It's not just the image. That's why I think for her to share that on the internet, trying to get sympathy, obviously there's something else going on there. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but if you're affected by somebody's text that you think is about you, that you read and you think it's about you, but you're not 100% sure, now you open yourself to the internet where a video can go viral. Now it's on the paper. This is a paper article that I'm reading. So now you open yourself more to even more feedback from a lot of more people. And I'm losing my voice. And as we know it, society has a really bad stigma for people who are out of shape because they think it's only laziness. The majority, obviously, it's just laziness. It couldn't be nothing else. It's just pure laziness. It's not a medication that you're taking that making you gain weight. It's not that you can no longer exercise for whatever reason. It's because you're lazy and that's it, right? So let me know, guys, what you think about this. I'm losing my voice, so I gotta finish. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the channel. Thank you to everybody who's listening to the podcast. Have a good day. God bless.